Soraya. How's it going?
Hey Jeff, good to see you, friend.
Good to see you too. So it's been a while since we've posted a video, although it hasn't been that long since we've seen each other recording. But
That's
but this will be the first video in months that we've posted. And do you want to let our listeners know what we decided to do with this little episode here?
absolutely. So as we start to wrap up the year, some really interesting things happened where some of our favorite bands and members of the core four that I like to call the core four of the Paisley Underground um gave us new stuff to think about, listen to, and look forward to. So we thought this would be a great way to wrap up 2023 by sharing some conversations we had with members of the 3 o'clock, Dream Syndicate, Rain Parade, and one very special member of the Bangles, along with John Cowsill. So
Yes.
um, we just thought there's so much to look forward to. So much that was gifted to us in 2023 and so much to look forward to in 2024. We thought this would be the best way is to give you all just a peek into what those bands and those members had to say and share with us fans. So Jeff, this was a great year for fans. And it looks like 2024 is really ramping up to be an even better one.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure. So we've already conducted interviews with members of these four primary bands that you said, but this little episode right here, we just took little clips. It's kind of like a preview episode. Soraya, I love to go to the movies with my wife, and when
Yeah.
we sit at the movies, there's always previews before the movies of what we can expect to see in the coming weeks, right? So that's kind of what we're doing here. We got four little clips from these interviews that we're kind of teasing the episodes that we'll have, like
Yes.
you said, through the end of the year and probably rolling over a little bit into the new year with some of these because we've got four of these. So, and like you said, the artists from these bands have put out some stuff. So we know that John and Vicki put out a new Action Skulls
Right.
from a Running Horse, which is their second album, as you'll hear.
That's true.
And it's only available streaming and digital now, but maybe in a physical format, as you'll hear. And then members from the other bands have got some physical releases that we'll be talking about here. With Steve from the Dream Syndicate, Rain Parade, and the 3 o'clock. So
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this teaser should let people know that we've got some good stuff coming.
Yeah. And just a small parenthesis. So Jeff and I, we thought, oh my gosh, there's all this stuff happening. Let's do like a teaser episode and we'll limit ourselves to 15 minutes per band. Never happened. Sorry. Just never happened.
No.
Because conversations were fun and they just kept going and we said we're not going to stop. So like Jeff said, this is a coming attractions, a little way to wet your whistle, as they say, for a couple of episodes that are coming up. And we just thought we couldn't wait to not share. Wait,
Yeah.
double negative? Sorry,
Yeah.
I think in Spanish where we use double and triple negatives. We could not wait to share some small clips from these episodes. So we hope you really enjoy it. And again, thank you for listening and downloading us in 2023. And we look forward to bringing you a lot more in 2024.
Absolutely. Let's jump into this.
Let's do it. Hi, this is Soraya.
And this is Jeff,
Our podcast is called Paisley Stage Raspberry and Rhyme.
a podcast where the two of us play music that we like and share anecdotes and background about the tunes.
We hope you'll join our conversation. And without further ado, a groovear.
Let's get groovy. All right, Soraya. So when we decided that we were going to do these short little interviews,
Right.
unsuccessfully, as you said, thankfully, because we've got full episodes from each. We were kind of playing with the idea of or working through how we're gonna sequence these little interview clips, right? Because as you know, I'm pretty big on sequencing, and we
Yep.
couldn't, it was hard for us to decide who to go first, who in what order. So you came up with a good idea that I thought was pretty fair and logical. Do you remember what idea you came up
No.
with as far as no. So alphabetical order. So so you decided let's do these four bands in alphabetical order. So Bangles came up first, and that's what we've got here first. So do you want to intro this little preview clip that we got from somebody representing the Bangles?
Absolutely. So please enjoy this small clip of a forthcoming episode of a conversation Jeff and I were fortunate to have with Vicki Peterson and John Cowsill.
Yes.
No, yes, you
You
are.
know, the funny thing about from from a running horse is that we actually started making that record right after Angels Here, and it
Oh.
was going to be our second album. And then things happened, life ensued, and then the pandemic arrived. And at that point, Bill Mumi just kind of vomited out this collection of songs, and we caught them and sang all over them and sent them back to him. And we ended up with A Different World, and that became
It's our pandemic
our
album.
first, yeah, but it was our first second album, and From a Running Horse is our second album. So
I love that.
I love
Yeah.
Bill's voice. We love Bill's voice. He's got that Randy Newman kind of troubadour sound. Just I love his voice. And of course, nobody likes their own voice. So he said, I can't sing either. He said, "Sing my world to see no pain." I love that. It's so beautiful.
He's
Anyway,
got a great earthy voice. I describe it as earthy.
Yes.
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh
There's
my
a
gosh.
warmth to it.
It's
Yeah.
beautiful.
He sounds like an old blues singer.
Yeah, sounds like an old blues singer.
Very
Absolutely.
American.
Very American. I'm going to repeat
American.
everything
Yeah,
she
he's
says.
gonna
Yeah.
repeat
I'm
everything.
going to repeat everything
He
she
does
says.
everything I say.
Usually the way that I digest music is I'll throw something on the turntable or on the CD player, and I'm looking at the cover. If it's a gatefold, I'm opening it. I'm reading the lyrics. I'm reading the credits. I don't get to do that with From a Running Horse. So we're curious about credits. Can you tell us about, is it self-produced? Any guest
Yeah,
performers?
well, I'll take all the credit. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, many of the songs, and you can see some of the credits if you on Spotify, they'll, if you scroll down. Many of the songs were co-written actually by the three of us, which is one of the reasons why I like this record. It feels very inclusive in a lot of ways. Bill wrote a couple by himself. I wrote a couple by myself. John and Bill wrote the major part of Find the Good, and we all wrote Rounding the Square, which is one of my favorite songs. That came from a piano riff John's had for years, and just in the studio one day he was playing with it, and we said, let's do something with this song.
Yeah, Bill said, well, play that again.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, really? I've been playing this for like 9 years.
Yeah.
It's like, Jesus.
And that was one of those songs in 2017. I thought, we need to get this out now. It's sort of about our world right now and our political environment and landscape right now. And then about 2 years later, when I realized it wasn't going to be coming out right away, I was like, oh, well, I guess it's sort of passe now. And now, strangely enough, it is no longer passe. It is absolutely right on target.
He's still here.
All of them. So it's kind of, life is interesting that way. But yeah, so
that's just a little clip of of the full length interview that we did, and aren't those two amazing together?
First of all, there's so much knowledge that they both have, and so many stories.
Yeah.
We just scraped the surface. It's really, this was really a fun conversation. And I mean, they're unstoppable. It feels like they're unstoppable, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And
So
you
yeah,
could
it was
tell
a lot of fun.
indeed, and you could tell they have so much fun together. And in the full length interview we get into the fact that they live in New York as well as Los Angeles. New York, I think at the time of the recording, I think now they're probably back in Los Angeles, but we get a little insight into what their world is like in another part of the world, right?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, so up next, alphabetically after Bangles is Dream Syndicate. So representing Dream Syndicate, we got Mr. Steve Wynn talking about his new live record, Journeyman. And when we talked to him, he wasn't at home, was he?
No, I think this was the most mobile
Yeah.
interview we've had. He was in a van on the road, driving to another destination, as part of his solo tour, and he was in Spain.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
All right, let's listen to it.
Yes. Well,
How's
good
my audio sounding?
afternoon.
I'm in the back seat of a VW minivan. How am I sounding?
You sound pretty good. So we're literally on the road with Steve Wynn, and it's for us very early in the morning. So you know what they say, Soraya, the early bird gets the win, right?
Yeah, we do.
Is that what I am?
Indeed. So where in the world is Steve Wynn right now?
Well, I played a city called Orense in Galicia, on the kind of sort of the northwest. I guess you could say the Portland, Oregon of Spain, and now we're heading straight across the country to San Sebastian, one of my favorite cities. We're playing here tonight. I'm
Wow.
on tour. I'm on this day 9 of a 10-city Spanish tour. After having played 8 shows in Scandinavia and a show in Greece, so this is near the end of a long run, and I'm out here on driving. It's about an 8-hour drive today, and I'm being in the driver's seat right now is my friend and support act Herman Salta, who's been playing great shows, and merchandise seller Yuko Murata in the front in the co-pilot seat. So I'm in the back.
So you're being chauffeured around.
Like being driven around like Hank Williams right now. Yes, I like it. The life of luxury. And not only that, but Herman's when he's not making great records and playing great shows, his other job is he's a pilot for Iberia Airlines, and
Wow.
he flies all around the world. So I think I'm in pretty good hands right now.
Indeed. So I think for Herman,
Indeed.
probably flying on the ground is wrong. He should be flying in the air.
He would appreciate that they're saying flying on the ground is wrong. See, he's a Neil Young fan, so these guys got that.
Soraya, there's a new record or a new CD, a new release that we want to talk about, isn't there?
Yes. So, Steve, we wanted to ask about this live release that official release date November 1st. And we wanted to know, first of all, what made you think this is the right time for a live album, and just give us your thoughts behind it. We're excited for it.
Yeah, this just shows your new release roundup, right? That's kind of part of the theme today.
Yes,
thank you for including me. That's very, very kind of you.
No,
isn't it? I mean, it's great that all of the people you cover on the show and the people who've been making records for so long are still putting out new things and being creative. I think it's wonderful, and I've been hearing, on this tour I've been sort of crisscrossing at various times with Dan Stewart, with the Long Riders, with Chuck Prophet. We've all been out here in Europe in various times in the last month, so it's kind of cool. Your friends are still out there. God, I mean, it's crazy to say, but 4 decades on, still doing it. It's wonderful. But to answer your question, yeah, the new, I've been touring. I've been playing and touring acoustic since the very beginning, and more lately, and doing a lot of solo shows. And I really like these shows. I think weirdly enough, I mean, after 4 decades, I'm starting to get the hang of it. I think when I started playing acoustic, it was like, well, since I don't have the band, I'll go out there and bash it out and pretend like I still have the band with me. And it wasn't like a thing of its own until recent tours where I started finding the beauty of these solo acoustic shows. And the way I often describe it is when I'm playing with the band, whether it's a baseball project or Dream Syndicate or whoever, I think the show is more or less a case of the people on stage that I'm with. We're all interacting and talking to each other, and the audience can kind of like, on a good night, watch us, catch fire and get into a good vibe, which is kind of exciting for everybody. But we're in the fishbowl, and we're, check us out while we swim around in circles. But on these solo shows, I'm kind of jamming with the audience. I'm kind of feeling everybody out there second to second, moment to moment, and riding a wave of just kind of, kicking in louder, softer, more gently, more aggressive, more tense, all these different emotions, second by second, based on what I'm feeling from the audience. That's an exciting thing. And it's why I look forward to these tours and these shows. But I'd never put out an actual live solo acoustic record before. I'd had various, live band records. And I was on tour last May and playing a club just outside of Hamburg called the Music Star. I play it. I think a lot of people on your show played it before, and I play it often. Cool little place, and they have a great sound system and video and sound set up there. And when I finished the show, it was a particularly good night where I just felt like things were working well. And that guy gave me, a little, recording of the show, and said, "Well, if you want to put it out, feel free. We'd be happy to have you, put out this evening of music."
Wow.
And I went back and listened and went, yeah, that's kind of what I do out here. So it seemed like a good timing with this tour happening and that being so fresh from a recent tour to finally put it out. So it's only 1,000 copies. It's like just a little document to be sold on tour, like we're selling it right now, and then on Bandcamp starting November 1st.
Very cool. So Steve titled us this little project that we're doing, the Paisley Underground new release roundup. So
I think it's very fitting.
yeah, absolutely. So we didn't get to see Steve because, like you said, he was in the back of the van and we weren't able to get any visual, but we got to hear Steve and answer some questions about this release, which I don't think we had in physical format at the time. I think we only had the download version. So the physical format comes signed by Steve. And this is great to have. So it was cool to hear how this all came about, right?
Absolutely. Yeah. And I mean, there's always a good story, or 57 whenever we went. So it was just really fun to hear not only about how his tour was going, but also about this live release and new things that are coming up for the band. And he said something there that I think just kind of encompasses this whole episode. It's really nice to see friends, like friends of 4 decades on, still out there doing the work and sharing shows with fans. Dan Stewart, Chuck Prophet, Long Riders, Rain Parade. I mean, it's great. It's just really cool. It's always fun to talk to him, and the energy he gives out, it's contagious.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, so alphabetically, Bangles, Dream Syndicate. Now we're up to R. So Rain Parade, talking about their new album. We actually had a couple calls with them, Soraya. One was
Yes.
the little clip one, and then we did a full length one. So they're really 2 different calls. But what we're gonna have up next is our little preview clip with Matt Piucci and Steven Roback talking about this release. And I added in this little clip an analogy that Matt uses about Rain Parade and how he describes them. So listen for that here.
We were going to do only business, but anyway. Oh, but yes, on to the new stuff, as you were saying.
Speaking of the new stuff, and I'm glad to hear that the label 51 is supporting you guys in more ways than one. Are you guys happy with them? I think we've talked before about how that came about as your connection with Enigma.
Correct. Bill, and by the way, I mean, you guys do what you want, but he'd be a great guy for you guys to talk to. He's like, he would be, he's got a lot of stuff that you would be interested in. But anyway, that's a separate issue. I can give you his phone number if you want. We love him. Like we've said before, he was the first guy we met, and it was like all downhill since then. He's a wonderful guy, and he's just super into the music. And I don't know what's wrong with him, but he fucking loves us. And sorry, this is a R-rated, so you can bleep that out, Jeffrey.
We'll leave it in there. We love that stuff.
And we love him. He's been really supportive, and Andy too. Andy Sigmund newer.
It's been going really well. I mean, they got the record out. I mean, that's an accomplishment, and it
Yeah.
seems to be you know, people are hearing it, and it's slowly, you know, just getting distributed to fans and hopefully beyond. So yeah, their support really means a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, we've always been kind of like creeper weed. Oh, there you go. Yeah, we
I dig the transparent blue.
love the blue.
Yeah.
We love the cover, although we just read this review from Spain where they're like, "This is a fantastic album, but that's like the worst cover ever," and they're wrong. It's not. That's Emily Wick, who's a brilliant artist, a good pal. She did it. It's a very cool picture. So, but like I said, we're like creeper weed. We kind of come on slow. So
It seems, you know, it seems to evoke emotion, and that's a good thing. Whether it's positive or maybe not so positive, you know, it gets a reaction.
Yeah, we'll definitely hope to get into that more when we meet with you guys again, if you guys are agreeable to that. But I had one more thing, Soraya, and I think you had one more thing. When we saw you guys at Permanent Records Show, we were able to run into you guys briefly when we went to grab a meal beforehand and get some empanadas, which were fantastic.
Not empanadas, pupusas.
Oh, pupusas. Thank you for the correction. Those were fantastic. But we ran into Jim Hill, and Jim was asking us what we thought about the mix, because he said he worked particularly hard on the mix and making it more modern sounding than any Rain Parade recording has ever sounded. He said for the kiddos. So how do you guys feel that the mix is any different, or do you feel it's more of a modern sound?
I was just going to say that, you know, when he says modern, I think he might mean more that he was able to capture the sound itself of the instruments using you know, whatever modern gear he might be thinking of, as opposed to like processing it in a way that sounds faddish or you know, of the moment, you know. In that way, I think he really came through in getting, you know, really capturing the sort of the blend of the vintage instruments that we were using, because we were using instruments from all, you know, from
you know, John Lennon said about Day in the Life. He said, "Well, you should have heard it in the studio," because I mean, obviously we're 50 years on from that, but or 60, whatever. Sometimes, you know, you don't get everything that's there down into the product that everybody hears. And I mean, Jim is a god at that kind of stuff. He really can make digital sound analog, if you will. So we and he were very careful about each sound and how we were able to capture it. And it wasn't, I mean, modern in a good way, in the ability to capture what was there. We didn't like make stuff up or, I mean, sure, he moved things around. And I mean, he did some, you know, you don't want to watch the sausage get made, but we did use every technique that was available to us to make it sound as good as we could. And in that sense, yes, modern, but I don't feel that it's artificial in any way. And I don't think that's what he meant.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I think you asked Jeffrey about this. I was listening to one of your previous podcasts. And Soraya, who says she doesn't know anything, but she actually knows a lot. She just doesn't know the terminology. He really, you know, used the right microphones and the right, it's not really enhancement gear, but the right kind of compressors, and making sure that everything that was recorded was, you can actually hear it. So we're you know, we love Jim. We're very happy with him. We just talked to him a few minutes ago. So I don't know if that answers your question, but
Perfect. Thank you. So according to
So
Matt
sorry, I think we got
Piucci, Rain Parade is like creeper weed. They sneak up on you, Soraya.
Well, there you have it. There you have it. But one of the things that I loved about especially that clip is the mention of Jim Hill and how masterful really he is in enhancing and bringing out their sound. And I think this album, Last Rays of a Dying Sun, is really such a showcase for that. The band just it shines on this album. So,
Yeah, absolutely.
and I still say I don't know nothing about nothing, but
No, Matt's
I can at
absolutely
least describe it. I don't know the text, but anyway.
You know more than any of us. Just Matt's right.
No.
All right, last up alphabetically in our last preview is the reissue of the 3 o'clock 16 tambourines. So
Yes, sir.
yeah, so we have two people that we interviewed, or is it three? Let's watch.
All right, let's do it. So, Jeff, why don't you let our listeners know who has joined us today?
So, Soraya, we're very excited to have back Danny Benair and Michael Quercio of the 3 o'clock and of many other projects. But today we're talking about a 3 o'clock project because there's a new release, a
Yes.
reissue release. This guy, or is it this guy?
Or if you have
Oh, what do you
This-
got, Soraya?
this gorgeous
There you go.
piece of vinyl, amazing.
Translucent.
Yeah.
Yes, incredible. Welcome, guys, to the show.
Hey, 1 second. I'll be right there again. I got an issue.
All
And
right.
then, of course, Marty Van B.
Yeah.
Uns-
there's
not
a-
signed. What happened to his signature?
Hey, Marty
Oh,
Van B is a private guy.
That's part of our conversation. To answer all those questions.
Oh, well, we do have some questions.
There's answers to everything.
See, because in the original,
Oh, we know.
signed.
We know.
All right. Well,
Oh, okay.
The one thing I can say before, as we start, besides the record, which Michael and I love, there's a lot of things about the compiling of the actual thing you were holding in your hand, Soraya, that were sort of a surprise to us. So,
oh,
Oh, okay. Well, we'll talk about that. So one of the questions we want to start out with, thank you, Danny, is why, I mean, Jeff and I were comparing. Jeff has 7 versions. I have 4 of 16 tambourines. And we're wondering, why should fans buy this version? We asked David Shaw, and he said, this is the definitive version of 16 tambourines. Do you agree with that?
Yes, this is the remastered by Bill Inglot, incredibly. This is everything kind of put to right. It's the record more that we wanted the record to look like and be. We never wanted the cover. That was a complete mishap. I never had any idea that Marty Van Buren was going to autograph that. That was complete surprise. That was Lisa from Frontier who just did that. And yeah, so this is everything put together, and then remastered wonderfully, really, by Bill Inglot, who was there at the time and knew the band, the old friend. And so it all, and now he's like this, he does Fleetwood Mac and all the superstars. So, I don't know, Danny, what do you say?
yeah, I mean, definitive is as definitive as today is. I mean, 10 years from now, who knows? Who knows? But no, I actually don't believe it's ever been remastered since the day it was made. So it just, it came out on CD, it came out on vinyl, then it was put on colored vinyl. Nothing was done. It was just taken off the original stampers. So I believe sonically, Michael and I, when we listened to the test pressing, and we weren't gloating about it because we were in the band. I think we genuinely both believed that it sounded really great. And the thing I think we always felt about the record was its warmth. And we wanted to make sure that was there. And also, I think we both believe that the record is sort of novel in the sense that we're in our own little world when we make that record. It's not really like, well, we've got to do this or we got to do that, because it's not that. And it came out I think the first few weeks, people were like, what did they do? But to answer your question, yes, I think for today it is the definitive version.
Well, I mean, for instance, sonically, apart from the actual Frontier original release, the American, I guess you want to call it. There's a French version, there's a Japanese version. as you know. Now, I do not know what sources those come from, the Japanese and the French.
Yep.
I don't believe, I don't know if Lisa Fancher sent the original master tapes across the ocean. You understand what I'm saying?
Yes.
Right.
I don't know at the time how those were referenced.
Probably a tape copy would be my guess. You know, I think it was a secondary source.
I think they're secondary sources.
Oh,
That isn't
interesting.
necessarily bad. I mean, it depends on your ear, but I think that, you know, so that I've heard those, and I can hear that they're secondary sources
Okay.
to my ear.
Well, it looks like we have another guest
It's
joining
very
us.
talented. And the modern Bill Inglot thing to me is my favorite. So
Okay.
And the vinyl being pressed, you know, that was, I think, really important too.
Yeah. So having listened to the new remastered version, I have to say sonically it's the best sounding version. I'm glad. Hey, Lewis, welcome.
Hey,
Oh, Jesus Christ.
All right. So
Dun,
at the
dun,
very
dun.
yeah.
We didn't even let Lewis say hello.
Oh no, but in the conversation he has a lot to say. So
It's
yeah.
true. You
Yeah.
know, I love this this remastered version of 16 Tambourines. I mean, you and I have professed our love for this album for years. And it sounds so good. So
does
hats
sound
off to
great.
Bill Inglot and everyone involved in this project because so good.
Yeah, it sounds great.
Well,
All right,
Jeff,
so we have stuff coming out. The bands are, like you said, still active. So these were just clips. So we will be rolling out the full length episodes over the next 4 weeks.
yeah, and we really hope you enjoy them because this was a lot of fun. I mean, we had a very simple idea, and then as it started progressing, you know, it just got bigger and bigger, and you know, we didn't have the heart to give you just, you know, a very short episode. So we hope you enjoy them. We had a lot of fun speaking with everyone involved, and
Absolutely.
yeah, looking forward to it.
Yeah, indeed. And like you said, we've got some ideas coming up in 2024. So hopefully we get back rolling. It's been busy with work and with health issues
Stuff.
in summer. We've had all kinds of stuff. So we're hoping to get back into this and on a regular schedule. So
Absolutely. And just before we cut out, happy holidays, happy new year. We look forward to being with you with new stuff in the new year. And we'll see you there. Mi gente, a grubiar.
groove on, Paisley people. Yeah.
Era. Okay, this is how you do it. You're nurse, this is about. This is